It is 1:30, Universal Time. I'm Jim Tedder in Washington. President Bush says he expects North Korea to honor international agreements it has made that ban the testing of long-distance missiles. The president spoke Wednesday following a meeting with European leaders in Vienna, Austria. Mr. Bush warned that North Korea will continue to separate itself from the rest of the world if it performs the missile test. United States officials have rejected an offer from a North Korean diplomat for direct talks on the missile issue. The Bush administration says any talks with North Korea must come in the form of six-nation nuclear disarmament talks. President Bush says the major world powers are united in the goal of preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Mr. Bush said those powers must present a common diplomatic message to make Iran end its nuclear activities. Mr. Bush questioned Iran's plan to answer a Western aid offer by late August. He said it should not take Iran that long to accept what he called a reasonable plan. The president spoke in Vienna after meeting with European Union leaders on Iran and other issues. The Iranian foreign minister said Wednesday on Italian television no deadline was agreed upon when officials presented the package to Iran on June 6th. In Iraq, at least 85 factory workers have been kidnapped in an area north of Baghdad. Security officials say those kidnapped work for companies linked to the Ministry of Industry. They said gunmen attacked buses that were taking the workers to their homes. In Baghdad, unknown attackers killed one of the lawyers for former Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein. Police say the lawyer's body was found in Baghdad after he was kidnapped from his home. This was the third lawyer for Saddam to be killed since the beginning of his trial. The United States military has announced charges against 8 members of the military in connection with the death of an Iraqi civilian. Marine Colonel Stuart Navarre said Wednesday they are being charged with kidnapping, murder, and planning a crime. The 8 are suspected of killing a man without cause in the Iraqi village of Hamdaniya in April. Those being charged include 7 Marines and 1 member of the Navy. 4 other Marines are also being investigated. Police officials from the United States and Colombia have arrested 56 people in both countries in connection with the international importation of illegal drugs. The United States Drug Enforcement Agency said Wednesday that investigators seized $25 million worth of the illegal drug heroin. The drugs were being shipped to New York City. Officials say the suspects imported the drugs many different ways. Their methods included putting drugs inside shoes and using humans who swallowed small containers of the drug. A Mexican citizen who admitted to killing 12 people in the United States has been found to be mentally healthy by a Texas court. He will face execution next week. lawyers for Ángel Maturino Reséndez had argued that he was mentally unhealthy and should not be executed. Reséndez was found guilty of the sexual attack and murder of a Texas doctor in 1998. He has also been linked to at least 15 murders in 6 different states. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. Palestinian reports say an Israeli airstrike in the Gaza Strip has killed 2 people. At least 13 other Palestinians were wounded. An Israeli missile reportedly hit a house in Khan Yunis after missing a car that was traveling nearby. The Israeli army says it carried out a strike against militants, but it gave no other details. Later Wednesday, 1 person was reportedly injured in an explosion near a Palestinian security forces building. In Jordan, King Abdullah spoke to a meeting of Nobel Prize winners. He urged them to suggest ideas to help the Israelis and Palestinians negotiate a peace agreement. President Bush has arrived in the Hungarian capital, Budapest. He will take part in ceremonies to mark the 50th anniversary of the Hungarian rebellion against communist rule. The President flew to Budapest after talks with European Union leaders. He praised EU leaders for their cooperation in building democracy in areas such as the Balkans. Mr. Bush recognized European concerns about holding terrorism suspects at the United States military prison in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. He said the United States Supreme Court will decide how to try the suspects. The Arab League is trying to restart talks between the temporary government in Somalia and the Islamic forces who control the capital. Representatives from the government and the Islamic Courts Union will meet Thursday in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum. Somalia's temporary president, Abdullahi Yusuf, says he will only meet with the Islamic courts if they recognize his government. The Islamic Courts Union leaders say they will not accept any government conditions. The aim of the talks is to get the government and the Islamic courts to cooperate in ending the violence in Somalia. In sports news, Portugal will move to the second part of the World Cup competition following a 2-1 victory over Mexico Wednesday. Argentina won Group C after a scoreless game with the Netherlands. Argentina will play Mexico on Saturday in the German city of Leipzig, and the Netherlands will face Portugal on Sunday in Nuremberg. And now, briefly, here again is the major news of the hour. President Bush says he expects North Korea to honor international agreements banning the testing of long-distance missiles. 8 members of the United States military have been charged in connection with the death of an Iraqi civilian. And police officials from the United States and Colombia have arrested 56 people in connection with the international importation of illegal drugs. And that's the news in VOA Special English. From Washington, This is Jim Tedder reporting.